Welcome to this presentation on understanding digital citizenship. The goal of this presentation is to give you more information as an educator on how to use digital citizenship principles in your classroom and to teach your students how to be good digital citizens. The students that are coming to us today are what are called digital natives, and they've had experience with technology since they were born and have always had technology in their lives. Whether or not they had technology in their home, they've been influenced by it in some form. But this experience doesn't necessarily mean that students are good digital citizens, and this is something that we need to explicitly teach. So this presentation was viewed by our students, and now faculty members are going to view this and have a chance to learn more about it. And at the end of the presentation, you'll be getting some resources to help you teach about digital citizenship, and also for your own understanding, some further reading and tools that you can use to understand better. So first, what is digital citizenship? This is a definition provided by a website called digitalcitizenship.net. The definition is the norms of appropriate responsible behavior with regard to technology use. Digital citizenship covers a wide range of behaviors that students must be taught as they begin using digital tools. Learning to be a good digital citizen will ensure that students consistently have a safe experience using digital tools. It is important for students to learn to use information in an ethical way so they are less likely to plagiarize or break copyright law. Digital citizenship covers a wide variety of behaviors, so there is a lot of ground to cover when we teach this to our students. One part of digital citizenship is etiquette. It's really important for students to be respectful with whomever they are communicating on the internet. This includes proper mechanics, spelling, and writing. Students should not engage in text talk using words like LOL or you. We want to teach our students to have formal writing in academic settings, and they can use those types of language in their casual conversations with their friends. Students should be kind to others in social media and stand up to or report those who engage in cyberbullying, and students should also use appropriate language. For safety, it's critical that students practice safe online behaviors, and as educators, we have a responsibility to teach students about this. This includes keeping identifying information such as full name, address, and/or school name private. Students should never share their passwords with others or log into someone else. Some other areas of digital citizenship are permission, photographs, and protection. For permission, as students are using digital resources, they should remember to correctly cite any sources they use and avoid breaking copyright law. For example, students should use caution when searching for images and make sure they have permission to use them. Another area we need to teach students about is photographs. As students are creating photographs and videos in their classes or at home, they should be aware of what is in their photos. Is there anything behind them that you can see in the photo that might identify who they are or where they are? Is the photograph appropriate? And whoever is in the photograph, if there's other students in the photograph, are all the students comfortable with the photograph before it's shared or used? So we want to make sure that students are being kind to others, and part of that is making sure that nobody has a picture on the internet of them that they're not comfortable with, because those things don't go away once you post them. Another area is protection of our software and hardware. Students need to be aware of viruses, malware, spyware, and how those things will affect the hardware and software. And it's also good for them to know how to avoid getting viruses or malware or spyware so that they are able to avoid doing that. The next thing is consequences of unethical internet use for students. There's a wide range of behaviors that fall under digital citizenship, so consequences are going to depend on which behavior is being displayed. There are many possibilities, including a warning, an office referral, suspension, loss of points in an assignment, partial loss of internet privileges at school, complete loss of internet privileges at school, and depending on what they're doing, there could be different kinds of consequences as well. So there are definitely consequences, and so we need to teach our students that being a good digital citizen could have these kinds of consequences at school, but it can go further than that. If they are being unsafe, and giving people their information, somebody might try to hurt them. If they are posting things that are inappropriate or posting pictures of other people, then they're engaging in cyberbullying, and that can go beyond the school's punishments as well. So there are additional punishments. It just depends on what the student's doing. So here are some scenarios about ethical use of the internet. So students read these scenarios and they have to determine if this scenario is an unethical use of the internet. So the first scenario is a student posts to a social media account an unflattering photo of another student that he took in class. He invites his friends to create captions for the photo. So this scenario would be an unethical use of the internet and a poor example of digital citizenship. This student took a picture of another student, and that student did not give permission and was not aware of this photo being uploaded to social media. And depending on what the student's friends say, this could be considered cyberbullying as well. Scenario 2, a student is writing an email to a pen pal that she met through a classroom activity. The student tells her pen pal her home address so that they can continue writing through the summer. This one is kind of a gray area. It's kind of murky. It could be an unethical use of the internet. It's even though the students met in a safe area and through an academic purpose, it's kind of dangerous regardless to give your address to somebody. So this is something we want to caution students on situations like these. Scenario 3, a student writing a book report goes online and finds there are several free reports on her book on the internet. She copies about half the report to use in her paper, but does the rest on her own. This would be an example of unethical use of the internet because a student is using someone else's work. This is an example of plagiarism because she's not giving credit for that person's work. Scenario 4, a student is posting in a discussion forum about the Civil War when somebody begins verbally harassing him. The student reports this to his teacher and refuses to answer the post. And this is a perfect example of what to do in this kind of situation, so it is not an unethical use. This is being a good digital citizen. The student reported the incident and then did not engage with the person who was being mean. Scenario 5, a student really wants to watch a movie that just came out in theaters but is not able to go. He finds a copy of the movie online that someone recorded from the theater and watches it from home. This would be an unethical use of the internet because this movie is a pirated movie, which is illegal, and the student is using that instead of going to the movie theater. So they're avoiding paying for the movie and using the internet inappropriately. So these kinds of behaviors are, these scenarios are important to go through with students because this gives them some experience with different situations that they may be facing in the future. And a lot of our 4th and 5th and 6th graders haven't been in these situations before. So it's good to go through stuff like this and teach them the right thing to do explicitly so that if they come upon this kind of situation, they've had the discussion before and they know what would be an appropriate choice. So during the student presentation, we went through some good digital citizen behaviors. So these include think before you post, respect the opinions of others, use information in an ethical way, be kind and respectful to others, stay safe online, keep private information private, balance their time online with other activities, and then realize what they share and post on the internet is nearly impossible to erase. So as you can see, being a good digital citizen includes a lot of different behaviors. And students need to have instruction in all of these areas in order to become good digital citizens. At the end of this presentation, you're going to get some handouts that will help you teach digital citizenship in your class. There's some great resources. There's tutorials for students, games that they can go through different situations, kind of like we just did. Things will help students become balanced in their understanding of internet use and ethical use of the internet because there's so much information out there and things to consider and possibilities and technologies being developed every day. So it's our job to help these students navigate all of this while teaching them ethical behavior as well. Thank you for participating in this presentation.